All right, quarterback rankings. We're finally here. The training camp is right on the precipice. It's almost August. We're going to get to preseason pretty soon. So before then, I'm going to do a bunch of ranking videos, preview videos, all that good stuff. And, as far as the quarterback rankings, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, they're still up there. But coming off a second NFL MVP, it's Aaron Rodgers' neighborhood now. And to be honest, I don't really think it's that close. Roger that. Obviously, the quarterback position is the most important one in the NFL today, and it kind of always has been, and it always will be, and it's going to be reflected in my rankings, because as you'll see below in that description box, I have players ranked on a scale of 1 to 10, and anyone that's rated 9 or higher is considered the elite of the elite, the creme de la creme, so to speak. I have 5 quarterbacks ranked 9 or higher, and when you compare that to my running back rankings, which will come out either tomorrow or 2 days from now, my highest rated ball carrier is an 8.7. I've been doing this for about 10 years. I used to do them for my blog, then I did them for a more recognizable blog, and I even did it for the Bleacher Report. I was going to do it for Stats, the company that I write for. I was going to do this a year ago, but they refused to pay me, so I'm bringing it to YouTube for the first time. I call it my On Paper series, and it's really something that, really isn't done anywhere else. So it's my own thing, and it's something that I enjoy doing. I watch a lot of football during the off season, and basically I work a lot of night shifts, and I get back at like 2 a.m. in the morning, and instead of coming home and watching porn or watching a TV show, watching The Simpsons or whatever, I watch football. I have all the games, I have access to everything, and, I watch a lot of games. So, I try not to watch too much of the Jaguars and Titans, but, I'd say I watch about 75% of the league. So, I watch a lot, and, I think my rankings are very credible, and we'll see what you guys think of them. So, what do I look for a signal caller? Well, there's accuracy, intelligence, leadership, and the not-so-easily explained it factor. With accuracy, I want my quarterback to be able to fit the ball in the tight windows, hit the receiver in stride, put it on the proper shoulder, exemplify timing, touch, and arm strength. Intelligence, being able to read a defense, making the right decisions, calling the correct audibles and line protections, and anticipating and feeling the rush. With leadership, can the quarterback instill confidence in his teammates to get through adversity? How does he bounce back after making a mistake and throwing a pick six? And the good old it factor. Do you have that competitive fire? Are you tough physically and mentally? Is your strive to succeed greater than your fear of failure? I want to see calm and poise in 2-minute situations. All right, so 2 things immediately come to mind with my top-ranked quarterback, Rodgers. His lightning quick release and accuracy when it's escaping the pocket. Kind of had a little bit of trouble getting that one out. There's a bit of a misconception about, what the mobile quarterback is, because there's more to being athletic than running, escaping the pocket, gaining yards on the ground and running the zone read. Granted, Rodgers' athleticism isn't exactly on the same level as, guys like Russell Wilson, Colin Kaepernick, Cam Newton, and Robert Griffin III. But in terms of using his feet to extend plays and throw the ball downfield, honestly, there's nobody better. Like Wilson, he doesn't use his mobility to immediately pick up yards on the ground. He uses it to extend and find open receivers. And nobody uses his feet as intelligently as Rodgers does. So with Rodgers, you have a quarterback who is not only your traditional pocket passer that delivers the ball accurately and on time, he can also escape it and throw peas on the move. No other quarterback has both those qualities to the extent of Rodgers, except maybe Andrew Luck. That traditional pocket passer doesn't normally have that, athleticism that Rodgers possesses. For example, Tom Brady ran a 5.28 40 time at the NFL Combine. Rodgers was in the 4.7 range. You don't think of Brady or Peyton Manning being athletic enough to escape and throw on the move. And if you want to compare it even further, Wilson, Kaepernick, and Newton were all in that 4.5 to 4.6 range. RG3 was even faster in the 4.4 range. Rodgers really isn't that far off. Rodgers is so accurate that defensive backs can really break on the ball. He'll never miss wildly to the point where an overthrow lands into the arms of a deep secondary player, and when he misses behind a receiver, it's only slightly and not enough for a trailing defender to get his paws on it. Rodgers throws with anticipation and places the ball into tight windows by controlling the velocity and trajectory of his passes. His precision and touch allows him to throw receivers open downfield. If there is one flaw to Rodgers' game, sometimes his footwork gets sloppy, which leads to poor ball placement. He'll rely on his upper body to make an accurate pass, but his arm talent is so exceptional that he can get away with it. Other than that, he's the best in the game. He can beat you with his arms, his legs, and his head. I have Brady at number 2, and it's only the second time I have him ranked higher than Peyton Manning. The only other time was when Manning was coming back from those neck surgeries. Obviously, I'm not counting the season that he missed. Brady went from fielding questions in Week 3 about being washed up to playing better than any signal caller in the game, barring Rodgers, following that woeful Monday night performance against the Kansas City Chiefs. His impressive turnaround led to a 4th Super Bowl ring, joining Joe Montana and Terry Bradshaw as the only NFL quarterbacks to have a quartet of Super Bowl titles. And his first ring in 10 years came with one of the more mediocre receiving corps in the game. He's the ultimate winner despite how deflated his balls are. He's still the guy I want leading my offense in the final 2 minutes of a game. Brady's deep ball accuracy has always been his strength, although the soon-to-be 38-year-old has lost, just a little bit of zip on those vertical passes. He has fantastic footwork in the pocket. He still has a strong arm, very smart. He runs that Patriots offense with ease. Manning checks in at number 3. During the lead-up to Super Bowl 48, Richard Sherman said that Peyton threw ducks, and, Manning concurred. But a torn quad led to more ducks being thrown the final month of last season. And another disappointing Manning playoff performance against Indianapolis ended Denver's 2014 season in very, very, very bitter fashion. Manning had 4 games with at least 4 touchdown passes in weeks 1 through 12, but tossed just 4 total scores the final month of the year. At 39, Manning will join Warren Moon, Doug Flutie, and Brett Favre as the only quarterbacks to start a year at 39 or older. Manning's greatest quality has always been his ability to manipulate defenses with his intelligence. Still gets rid of the ball within 3 seconds on every snap. Accuracy is still superb, and the anticipation is still there. But the arm strength has deteriorated. More and more teams are forcing Manning to work outside the numbers. Pressure up the middle has been a problem for Peyton in Denver. His lower body is the key for the velocity that he has left. Peyton has led the Broncos to 3 straight first-round byes, but a Super Bowl victory has yet to come to fruition. 2015 could be his last shot to win that elusive second ring and match his baby bro. Andrew Luck is number 4. The 26-year-old led the NFL with 40 touchdown passes a year ago and already has 12 game-winning drives over arguably you can basically say he's got the greatest 3-year start to any quarterback in the history of the NFL. He overcomes a lackluster offensive line with his ability to extend plays. He has great feet in the pocket and out of it to gain yards through the air and on the ground. Luck's our touch is excellent. He understands trajectory, how to drop a ball over a trailing defender, and to lead receivers so they catch passes in stride. Receivers rarely have to adjust to any of his balls. His arm strength isn't the best, but it's still above average, and it throws an easy deep ball with great accuracy. He drives his throws effectively using the lower half of his body. Very tough in the pocket. Hangs in there as long as possible to give his receivers as much time to get open. He also has good footwork in the pocket, sidesteps pressure up the middle, and is solid at stepping up in it to avoid edge rushers. The Stanford product has taken a step forward each season. Last year, he lost to the Patriots in the AFC Championship. Could a Super Bowl appearance in 2015 be possible? Ben Roethlisberger is actually, I forgot a guy. Drew Brees is my 5th-ranked quarterback. Brees, it's going to be interesting to see what happens this season. He's a guy that's always been very accurate up the seams. When you think of the back shoulder throw, you think of Brees. He's a guy that's going to have a completely new kind of style of offense, it seems like. The Saints brought in all these running backs. You got C.J. Spiller in there now. Mark Ingram's still there. Kyrie Robinson's very underrated. So you have a three-headed monster. So are the Saints going to try and run the ball more? That should be interesting to see. And there's no more Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham was always, Brees' little safety outlet. So he's no more Kenny Stills either, the deep threat for New Orleans. But, it should be a very, very interesting season for New Orleans. And, I don't know what to think. I put Luck ahead of Brees, but Brees is still very, very talented. He's getting up there in age like Brady and Manning, but he's still one of the best in the game. So, I'm not going to hate on him. Ben Roethlisberger is my 6th-ranked quarterback, coming off the best season of his career. 4,952 yards, 32 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 55 completions of 20 or more yards, and 15 that went for 40 or more. The Steelers signed the 33-year-old to a 5-year extension during the offseason. Big Ben has never been considered, that elite quarterback like a Peyton Manning or Aaron Rodgers. But last season was the first time, he really carried the offense, especially that, 2-week stretch against the Colts and Ravens when he threw 6 touchdown passes in each game. Yeah, it helps having Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, but it was by far the best year of his career. Big Ben didn't carry the offense in the past because of a stellar defense. He was, always able to get away with some bad ball placement. He's at his best, making big plays out of nothing, being that elusive play extender. It was only a year before that some thought Big Ben could be used as trade bait. His downfield accuracy was absolutely atrocious in 2013, but he's back and better than ever, and he's still got a good, few good years left in him, obviously, if he's going to get a 5-year contract extension. Speaking of career seasons, Tony Romo was outstanding in 2014. He's number 7 on my list. He led the NFL with a 113.2 passer rating, tossing 34 touchdowns to go with just 9 interceptions. Head coach Jason Garrett turned Romo into a game manager last season to complement the elite rushing attack of the Cowboys, and Dallas's offensive line allowed Romo an eternity of time to scan the field. Despite the 35-year-old's back trouble, Romo is still remarkable, sidestepping pressure in the pocket with that go-to spin move. Still throws an accurate deep ball, still dangerous throwing on the move. 8th-ranked quarterback is Matt Ryan, and he's a guy that's been ranked a lot higher in the past and as high as 5, if I remember correctly. He did bounce back from a disastrous 2013, but, he sprinkled in a few clunkers last year as well. And, he's a guy that I would have thought would be better at this point in his career. He can make all the throws, has great arm strength, presence in the pocket, but I want to see more consistency if he wants to be in that upper echelon of quarterbacks. Phillip Rivers checks in at number 9, and, for the first month or so of the season, he probably would have won the MVP award. Overall, he wasn't as great as he was in 2013, but he was forced to run for his life for much of the year because of that, very, very injury-depleted offensive line. 2015 is a contract year. I expect big things this season. Rounding out my top 10 is Russell Wilson, and honestly, I kind of think he's a bit overrated. Do I love his intangibles? Absolutely. He's a winner, a leader, smart and clutch, all that good stuff, all the it factor that I look for. That's why I have him in the top 10. But I'm not putting him any higher before I see improvements in the pocket. I saw a decline last season with his accuracy. A lot of his passes would sail on him. And quite honestly, he had some really, really awful outings. Obviously, many of us know about how poorly he performed in the NFC Championship game, but he was really, really bad against Oakland. It took him 58 minutes to wake up against Carolina, and he also had a very disappointing outing against Dallas. But with all that being said, he's a magician at keeping plays alive. He's the best, in my opinion, of running that zone read and manipulating that edge defender. I just want to see improvements with his accuracy and consistency this season. All right, 11 to 20. Cam Newton, number 11. Joe Flacco, number 12. Ryan Tannehill, 13. Eli Manning, 14. Matthew Stafford, 15. Colin Kaepernick, 16. Carson Palmer, 17. Alex Smith, 18. Sam Bradford, 19. Nick Foles checks in at number 20. Of these 10, very interested to see how Tannehill, Bradford, and Foles play in 2015. Is Tannehill going to live up to that 6-year, $96 million contract he signed in May? I think he will. I really think he's underrated, very underrated. And he's still young. He's still got a lot to learn. And I've seen improvements each season. Accuracy was, the area of concern he had last season and what he wanted to improve on the most. And I think, he excelled in the new offensive system of Bill Lazor, completing 66.7% of his passes. That was 5th in the league. What I'd like to see Tannehill improve for this season is the pocket presence. But he's trending in the right direction, and I think he'll take that next step in 2015. Obviously, Bradford and Foles were traded for each other a few months back. Bradford coming off another ACL tear. But if healthy, he's a terrific fit for Chip Kelly's offense. And out of all the guys on this list, if he stays healthy, he's going to be ranked a lot higher. He's going to make a bigger jump than any other quarterback on my rankings. But got to be healthy, got to suit up for 16 games. Let's see how good that sports science program actually is. He's smart, accurate, gets the ball out. 3 most important qualities for Chip. He's going to put the ball in the proper shoulder of the screen and crossing patterns that Chip loves to run. So there's that. As for Foles, we're going to find out just how quarterback-proof Kelly's system is. Foles, 14-4 as a starter in Philadelphia. Possesses some of that it-factor quality I look for. But he goes from having a fantastic offensive line to a not-so-decent one. And the Rams receivers, well, they might be the worst in the game. But there's a lot to like about Foles. And hopefully Todd Gurley is as good as advertised so he can take some of that pressure off his back. All right, let's talk about some rookies from last season. Teddy Bridgewater, I thought by far looked the best out of all those guys. I really liked what I saw from Zach Mettenberger, Derek Carr as well. Blake Bortles was a guy who had a fantastic preseason, but he really struggled during the regular season. Threw a lot of pick sixes from what I remember. So he's the one guy that, I hopefully he's not a bust, but he's the guy I didn't like at all last year. Bridgewater, I have 21st, Mettenberger 28th, Carr 29th, and Bortles 35. If Bridgewater can take another step forward, don't be surprised if the Vikings can make a run for the playoffs. But the Mettenberger's the guy. I'm really curious to see how his career pans out. He was a 6th-round pick. And I think somebody is going to take a shot on him being a starter in the future. There was a time when the Titans were content on sticking with him before falling in love with Marcus Mariota during the draft process. I love Mettenberger's arm, how calm and composed he is in the pocket, especially for a young guy, because so many rookie quarterbacks get cold feet at the first hint of pressure, but not Mettenberger. He stands in there as long as possible. He's like Luck in that aspect. But yeah, all right. Again, if you want to see my full rankings, click on the description box below. Obviously, I'm not going to go through all 75 guys, but I have the list down there, so check it out. Make sure you comment. Let me know who your top 10 is, top 5, whatever you want to do. Debate with me if you have a little gripe with something. So that's it for this video. The running backs, like I said, are going to be next. And hopefully I can get to that tomorrow. So with that being said, I'm Adrian Fetchu. We're out. Follow us on Twitter @TheBitterBirds. Later. Peace. Thumbs up.